tell me what's going on, and that way we can figure out how best to help.
Go ahead.
Oh, nervous. I've listened to you for a long time, so it's a little surreal to talk to you.
Hopefully, it doesn't stay too surreal. It doesn't get weirder and weirder. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll avoid that. But yeah, go ahead.
Um, I think that there's like kind of two things I think I'd like to get out of this call as much as we're able is I want to be like a better wife and a better mother. And I feel like there's conflicts in my husband and my relationship that are often due to outside us factors, but then they're affecting our kids and our family. Because yeah, sometimes we're fighting and that's not helpful for our family
No, I
in
get
any way.
that. I get that. And what are you guys fighting about?
There's a lot of it is driven by, I think, our extended families.
Sorry, and I'm sorry, I was completely imprecise in my question. My apologies. What's the surface level stuff that you're fighting about? You know, like people fight about dishes or money or sex, or like what's the surface level stuff that you guys are fighting about? How do the topics manifest?
I would say it's often like I got really hungry and wanted to go like through the Taco Bell drive-through to have something to eat like immediately. And then he I like said it multiple times, and then one of the kids said they wanted to go to a different restaurant for lunch, and then he was like, "Oh great, let's go hit up this other restaurant." And then we had to wait too long to get our food, and then I got really upset. And
Yeah, that was a recent example. So
Okay, no,
that's a good
that's good. No,
example.
that's good.
Yeah,
And I appreciate it. It's amazing how small these things are, but then how big they can deep, right? How big they can dig. So you were hungry and you wanted Taco Bell. Your husband didn't want Taco Bell, and you ended up going to some other restaurant where it took too long to get your food. Is that right?
yeah. Hearing the kids, so it's usually something else, like someone else, whether it be our kids or extended family. We just mentioned a different restaurant. Oh, I like that one, and then end up going that direction, not realizing, wait, that one takes a little bit longer, and my wife actually needs something now. And then she gets hurt by that she needed something now, and her voice was not heard. I mean, I did not care. I think that's a good way of summarizing.
Okay, so I mean, there's the words, and then I mean, I'm sure you guys know all this stuff, right? So I'll just touch on it briefly. There's the words, and then there's the meaning, right? So
Yeah.
if it's like, well, we're not going to Taco Bell, is the words, and the feeling is you don't care about me. Is that right?
yes, yeah, because I was like, I just want a quick taco from the drive-through, and then I want to go home and have an actual meal.
Ah, so you just wanted a tide me over, they call it, or something like that, right? Just a
Yeah, that
snack.
I was just desperate for. I'm like, 9 months pregnant, and I just needed some food. We spent too long at the beach because the
You're
kids did an
denying
awesome
food
job.
to a woman 9 months pregnant? You monster!
Right.
She's
Right.
eating for three and a
I
half.
know.
It could be twins in there, triplets. Who knows? Could be a whole village. Okay, just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
And
I
of
think,
course,
and well,
sorry, you did hear your wife say she wanted Taco Bell, right?
yes.
And what was your thought process as to you, the husband? What is your thought process about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. So my thought process, I don't mind Taco Bell. We could have gone there, but I was immediately thinking, well, if we're going to go out to eat, might as well do something better. And then one of the kids mentioned a different restaurant, and that sounded better. So then I mentioned that one to her. And I think part of the problem can be sometimes where I mention something to her, and then she agrees with it, but doesn't really agree with it because she feels like she needs to agree with it. And it might stem a little bit from her family.
Well, I mean, to be fair, all of the kids then hopped on board and wanted that restaurant instead of just, doing a taco drive-through.
It's probably hard. It's hard for her then to be the only person when everyone else wants the other thing. But then that's where I, as the husband, should be saying, nope, she needs this. Let's do this.
Okay, sorry, I'm a little confused because I thought it was just a snack so you could eat at home. So what's the other restaurant?
We do Chick-fil-A.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the restaurant is. I don't understand. So if the wife is just like, I need something to eat because I'm crashing here, and then we'll have a proper meal at home. Where does the other restaurant thing come into it? Because that's not what she wants, right? She wants like a snack at Taco Bell, right?
Yeah. And so, yeah, we were going to eat at home. So I think then that the idea of a different restaurant, all of us eating together, sounded better.
I think he wanted an easier.
Let me just make sure I understand. So it sounded better to who?
To me.
Now, was it
And then the
partly
kids,
that?
yeah.
Sorry, was it partly that you wanted your wife to have a better experience by having a proper dinner in a restaurant with the family?
No. I think it was to have like a meal together as a family in the restaurant versus just my wife picking up something. And that's probably where the problem. She wanted just a quick snack. I was thinking of it as more of a family meal. But that directly opposes what she wants, essentially.
Well, what's wrong with a quick snack and then you go for a meal? I'm sort of trying to figure out where the disagreements came from here. So your wife wants a quick snack and you want to eat at a restaurant, so she grabs a quick snack and then you go to a restaurant. Is it something like that?
That could have been a good solution.
I mean, that is, because there's this typical thing. And I remember, of course, when my wife was pregnant, like I want dill pickle flavored potato chips and some ice cream. And it's like, okay, I don't know what weird alchemy's going on down in that little furnace of a belly there, or that not so little furnace of a belly. But, you run over hell's half acre to get what your wife wants, right? Particularly when she's pregnant, right?
Well, I think I just spent most of the last 6 years pregnant, so it doesn't really seem like anything special.
Yeah, we've I don't know what was mentioned, but we have 4 kids, 6 and under, and then the 5th on the way. That'll be under 7. So 5 under 7. So it's just been like a constant.
Okay,
babies.
So she's kind of a baby factory. So you get her a snack.
I almost said that. Yes, I almost said that.
So you get her a snack. She's a conveyor belt. My gosh, you get her a snack. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out. So the communication thing is, I need a snack, and then you transform that into let's all sit down for a meal at a restaurant, and then she ends up not getting any food because the restaurant is going to take. Is it like one of these places like we might be able to seat you in 45 minutes kind of thing?
No, it was like it was probably took 15 extra minutes to get food than if we had gone to the other place. But it's also like a drive-through versus sitting in a really crowded space. And when I am really, really hungry, I get anxious around a lot of people. And it was
why do you
super
get
crowded
anxious
in
around
there.
people when you're hungry? Did you come from
Because
a
I
big
don't like
predatory
crowds.
family, or?
Well, I was going to go there a little bit earlier. I think she does have a history of not having her voice heard in her family growing up, right? You would agree with that? No.
Well, yeah, I was much more introverted, and all of them were just super wanted to do things all the time, go places all the time. And I was
Italian
just
Irish
really
combination. Yeah.
Okay, so you as the husband know that your wife has an issue with her voice not being heard.
Yes, and I need to factor that in.
Well, how long have you guys been together?
8
Almost-
years.
Yeah.
And over that 8-year period, my friend, when did you find out that your wife had a history of not being listened to?
When was that? Like year 2, 3? What would you say?
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
It's a couple years in, but not a lot.
So you guys were together for a couple of years before you found out about basic childhood stuff? You've been listening to my show for 8 years. How could you miss the childhood stuff?
We've done it a lot. we got a lot, but
We did talk about a lot of childhood stuff, but I don't think I realized the voice not being heard sing as much at that point in time.
Okay, so when
we
did you
both had a
notice?
lot of
Sorry, when did you notice conflict over the wife's voice not being heard?
Fairly early, I
yeah.
guess. But I don't think we realized that that was why.
We've learned a lot about both of our, I think, childhoods and how that's been factoring into our marriage over the past 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, because it's a
Um,
funny thing. Like if, and it's complicated. So I mean, I can understand. I'm sort of joking with this, right? But I can understand why it's a challenge, right? So we want to be sensitive to our partner's deficiencies, like what happened to them in childhood, the sort of old pain and
yeah,
the old wounds. We want to be sensitive to that stuff, but at the same time, we don't want to be dictated to and dominated by it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's a tightrope. Like that is a big challenge, and there's no obvious answer. It's sort of like a gut instinct. Because if
Mm.
it's like, well, my wife was never listened to, so I've always got to listen to her and accommodate her, then that goes from a deficiency of power as a child to an excess of power as a
yeah,
partner. And so it is a challenging thing to navigate or to balance, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Hmm.
And I think with the baby factory, as we were discussing, maybe, um, I think I've just felt the most of our marriage has just been trying to serve her because she needs rightly so, it should be. But then I then feel selfish at times, like
Sorry
wanting to
to
get my way,
sorry
I
to
guess.
serve her because of the pregnancies.
Yeah, and like help her
Well,
with that.
I'm
there were
sorry, I'm a
also
little confused here. Whose sperm is it? Did she just
Mine.
trip on the water, or did she get in a swimming pool, or? So what do you mean help her? You guys have chosen to make these babies together. You're one flesh.
Yeah,
You can't help your wife,
yes,
right?
right. It's
It,
helping me. Yes,
well,
yeah,
you're helping the family. You're helping the plan that you both have signed up for,
yeah,
which is to have a lot of kids, right?
yes, yes. We both want that. Yes.
Okay, so what do you mean by help her? It seems like there's a distance, like you feel like somehow you're a servant to a decision that you both made.
Yeah, I think and that's how I spent the first, I don't know how many years of our marriage, I think, and slowly, partially, a little bit getting over that maybe, but um, yeah,
Were you both on board with this many kids?
yes. Not
yes.
as quickly as they came. Maybe we didn't realize how we didn't realize how
Yeah.
quickly they would come.
Sorry, you
Yeah,
didn't realize how
there was
quickly women could get pregnant. Did I hear
there
something about an
were
Irish background there? You can't
in
share a cup of
Italian.
coffee with Irish women.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that actually.
yeah,
There's a
interesting.
reason why so many people had to flee when the price of potatoes went up 5 pennies. Anyway, okay, so
And the other piece of it is I got chronically ill the week before our wedding, and it lasted the first 2 years of our marriage.
oh gosh, what happened?
Um, I we didn't
We don't know.
actually know what it was until like a year and a half into it. It turned out to be chronic mono or Epstein-Barr virus. Um,
Huh.
And it was 7 doctors before they could figure out what in the world was wrong with me. And they kept just telling me, oh, it's just because you're like newly married or because you moved or because you just had a child.
Yeah,
And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
heaven
no.
forbid you go to socialist doctors with anything complicated. They don't want to have anything to do with you. Strep throat, easy antibiotics, they're good. But anything like I have an odd pain in my stomach, they're just like, yeah, it's anxiety. Here's some pills, go away. Right? Okay.
yep.
Yes.
So what was the solution to this Epstein Barr?
Well, they told me that there was really nothing they could do about it because it was viral and antivirals don't often work on this specific one when it's chronic. Um, so I had a friend who told me all about like a specific like natural modality to try. So I went like full force into that and it worked.
And what is the natural modality?
High dose vitamin C.
Wow.
I was literally buying it by the pound.
It was a lot,
Wow.
but it worked.
Yeah, most people can take like 10 to 15 grams before you get into the bowel movement. I was taking 100 grams at a time.
Holy crap. You're like mainlining in orange tree grove. So, and what were the symptoms before? Well, do you know how you got it? And what were the symptoms before, and how quickly did they lift?
It like hit me the week before our wedding. It was like that whole week, I was just like, what is wrong with me? I just felt so exhausted and dragging. Um, and then it just, yeah, it kind of hit all at once. Just suddenly I woke up and I was exhausted all the time and just slept. We got married in like the spring, and then that summer I actually had to quit my job because I couldn't do it.
Wow.
I was too tired. And my husband would come home from work and he'd be like, "So what'd you do today?" And I'm like, "I was too tired to go on my phone, so I just laid here and stared at the ceiling."
Wow. Now, just I'm not an expert on any of this, so forgive me for my lack of knowledge. Is it something that they describe to you? It's like this matches this cluster of symptoms, or is it that they can actually see the viruses squiggling around in a microscope or something?
I eventually, the seventh doctor I went to did a titer test for all sorts of viruses and other things. And my Epstein-Barr virus titers were like through the roof.
Okay, okay.
It said anything over like 30 was positive for the virus, and mine was over 800.
Okay, okay. Which is why you went on the very high dose vitamin C. Okay.
Yes.
And that was a
And
couple of years?
Yeah, that was the first 2 years of our marriage. I didn't know what was wrong with me until a year and a half into it. And then once I knew what it was and I could start like dealing with it, knowing what I was fighting, it was like 6 more months.
We had
To get back to normal?
Yes.
Wow.
We had one kid through that, and then she was pregnant with a second, then I guess as you were recovering. So it probably wore her immune system down too, I would imagine. Just
Sorry,
you
she's chronically viral infected and you had 2 kids?
right, I think.
Yes. It was stupid.
Well, no, I mean, you're obviously very intelligent people, so I'm not sure I quite follow the logic here. You know, I'm obviously not criticizing you for having kids. I think that's wonderful. I'm just, if she can't get out of bed and she doesn't know what's wrong, like you don't know what's wrong with you and you don't know if there's going to be cure and all the doctors are saying whatever it's in your head or whatever they're saying, how does that work with having a kid before the health issue is resolved? Or 2, really?
Well, it didn't work very well, but we made it kind of. Like I was able to.
No, but what if you hadn't found a cure, right? I mean, you kind of lucked out with doctor number 7, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to sort of follow the reasoning here. I know this sounds all kinds of critical. I don't mean it that way. I'm obviously a little surprised.
I wonder,
right?
I think it was partly religious.
Okay.
Where neither of us were entirely comfortable with like hormonal birth control.
Right.
But then I'm pretty sure that he had like a botched circumcision or something when he was a baby. So the standard condoms like don't work.
Huh.
And so we were doing like the diaphragm, and that's not 100% effective.
Uh-huh.
So that's how that happened.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
We would take measures, but they would reduce probabilities, but we found out that
reducing by 90% is not 100%.
And ours always seemed to be like the 1% chance.
Yeah, the math checks out. Yeah, the math checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We would also like abstain on days 2 close to ovulation, and that didn't seem to matter either.
Right. Get the perma eggs, right? Okay.
It appears so.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously it's thrilling to have that many kids, and I envy that, so good for you. So when you first met, what were the virtues or values that drew you to each other?
we both lived in or near DC. Oh, the city that we lived near just didn't have a lot of Christians and conservative Christians.
Yeah, you could say that.
So we were trying to find sorry, my voice is we were trying to find like-minded believers and just not able to find that. So actually found each other on a very unique religious dating site. Uh,
Yeah. And he was from the state next to mine.
Okay,
and
got
then
it.
as we began getting to know each other, we realized we actually share a lot in common, belief-wise.
Mhm.
And of course, enjoyed each other's company,
Yeah.
both liked intellectual conversations, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Got it.
I would joke in the past that he was the only guy in the entire state that fit my like religious requirements.
Right. Okay.
And mine too, for the most part, because I would most have to compromise probably on something. I wasn't able to find someone that actually believed all the things. Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Got it. And your cultural backgrounds, are they similar?
Kind of, but not really.
Ambiguous. I like it. What do you
We
mean?
both grew up conservative Christian, but in like very different ways.
Go on.
Well, he comes from like Dutch ancestry, and they're very rules oriented, and you do things because that's how you do them.
Or tradition, or yeah,
Yeah.
just don't question.
You went to like the same church your entire childhood, like super stability kind of thing. And then my family was not that way, but also conservative Christian in a lot of ways. But they hopped from church to church all the time because they were looking for something more pure, I guess. And so, yeah, there wasn't much stability there. And they had really strong beliefs, but I feel like I'm in soup. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think different style. Well, yeah. Um, my family was a lot more reserved. Hers was a lot more just Irish, Italian, right? Boisterous and just speak your mind a little bit as well.
Yeah, like my
Sorry, you
family
said
was very
Irish and
loud.
Italian?
Yes.
Two Catholic bastions of fertility? Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that too.
Just
That
checking.
too.
Just checking. All right.
That was just dad's side. The other side was Scandinavian.
Okay.
Um, but they were all
Drunken,
other kinds
hot-blooded,
of
and emotionally distant. Okay, got it. All right.
actually describes it quite well.
Yeah, the stereotypes exist for a reason. I'm not saying you judge everyone that way, but it's not inaccurate often when you zoom out, right?
So beliefs very similar growing up even, but styles, behaviors,
And reasons like my
reasoning.
parents had like a lot of reasons for why they would do things.
Right.
Mine was just that's the way you did it. That's the way we were taught. It makes sense to me. Don't question it, kind of thing.
Right. So conservatism to the point of almost rigidity, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
And then mine was if that rule doesn't make sense, why in the world would we follow it?
Right. Okay. Now, of course, all couples have their disagreements, and I'm sure that it started at some point where you had disagreements. So, had you discussed much, I guess, before or after marriage, how you were going to resolve disagreements? What was going to be the process or the procedure to resolve disagreements?
No, we were committed. Like divorce was not an option, but I don't think we ever discussed like right or am I missing? I
I
don't think we ever.
don't think so. I think we talked about what do we do if we disagree, and then it was like, well, we'll try to come to an agreement together, and then if we can't, then I just go with whatever he decides.
Okay, so can you remember an early disagreement where you had to try and bring that rather abstract theory into practical use?
Yeah. So the first one had to do with my sister, right? I think they'd be the first.
Yeah.
So my younger sister and I were very close growing up and then through college. Um, and then when and learning since then, I guess I think I served as kind of like a substitute. We had a father, but he was too wishy-washy to provide the emotional support for her. Is that a good way of describing it? I don't know. But so I think I realize now that I served as like a substitute father for her, not realizing at the time, and provided a lot of emotional support for her, I think. Um, so then when she met Brittany, yep, sorry, when she met my wife, then I think there was some jealousy is the right word, but like she felt threatened.
Sorry, what's
Um,
the age difference between you and your sister?
1.5 years, 1 and 9 months.
That's a narrow age gap to be a father figure.
Yeah.
Okay, that's I just bookmarked that in my brain. But sorry, so you felt that when you met your wife, your sister got jealous?
Yeah, and like threatened almost that I was taking her, yeah, or look, I was then not able to be there for her when she was going through her own very hard times, hard relationships and such.
And how old were
Uh,
you when you met your wife?
26? Is
Okay,
it?
so she was
Yeah.
like 24 and change or something like that, right?
27, I
Okay,
think.
Oh, maybe 26.
Okay.
so
27.
you had tried to raise her, and because you were also a kid, you hadn't done a super great job, right? Because she wasn't independent in her mid 20s.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously you're a kid, right? So kids can't raise kids, right? Otherwise we wouldn't have
Yep.
parents, right?
Yep.
So was she aware that your pretend fatherhood or your pseudo fatherhood hadn't been what she needed? Did she know that? Did she get any therapy or do self work and say, okay, well, I need to figure out what I was missing that obviously my brother tried to provide but couldn't do a great job because he's a kid. So I need to backfill that somehow?
No.
I don't know if becoming a therapist counts.
Yeah, she's a therapist social worker now.
Really? Okay.
Don't be too specific.
But she wasn't, I guess, back then, right?
Oh, yeah, she was.
And what kind of relationship issues was she dealing with?
Had a 10-year relationship with the guy, was waiting for her or for him to um commit essentially, and never happened.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I
And so
thought the
kind of
story was going to go a little longer than that. All right.
oh,
Okay.
it's a very
So it
simplified
never
version.
he never committed, and she was kind of tortured by that.
Yeah, and yet felt the need to continue. And like,
Well, that's
yeah,
fallacy of sunk costs, right? It's
yeah,
tough
yeah,
to walk if you
exactly.
waited
Yeah,
for the bus for 3 days, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. While we
And
were dating
sorry, go ahead.
was when while we were dating, she decided to move multiple states away to where he was
Mm.
to try to like salvage it.
And what advice did she get from family and friends regarding this guy?
Yeah. Early, so we liked him the first year, but then after that, then myself and my entire family did not like him and gave that feedback to her concerns, I guess, with um trying to remember now various things, but
So
and of
basically, you
course,
said he's not the guy. It's not going to work. You're
yeah,
wasting your time, and she didn't listen.
correct.
Okay.
And this kind of went on, yeah. And then she didn't want to hear it anymore, so then we kind of just stopped giving that feedback.
And what was it that finally blew this scheme apart?
The scheme, or what do you mean?
Like broke up. Sorry, I'm being a bit abstract there. Sorry, go ahead.
Like what ended there?
Oh, well, she found out that he got engaged to someone else
Ah,
randomly.
what?
Yeah.
10 years in.
I heard. He met some girl, and then 3 months later, they were engaged. And then they were married after
Well,
10 years with her kind of concurrently.
yeah. I mean, I've been down that road. I was in a relationship for a good chunk of my 20s. But you know, I broke up, and then sometime later, I met my wife, and we got married within 11 months. Okay, so I get that. So how did she handle this breakup?
Not well. Um, it's just an emotional wreck. And so this was the first, roughly first year of,
Well,
or second year of
the
marriage.
salvaging attempt was the first year of dating while we were dating, and then our first year of marriage. And then it was like the second year, I think, is when it had blown up.
Okay.
Yeah, so then there would be frequent calls, semi-frequent calls, I don't know how frequent, but where she was distressed, of course, and then I would try to be there for her. But then it began to, that was also the same time that my wife was going through her mono and having,
And pregnancy, and you're trying to adjust to marriage and illness and babies, and yeah, that's a lot.
all the stuff. So you can see kind of how both sides began to feel. So my sister thought my wife should be more caring and like care about her problem, not realizing and appreciating the fact that we are now husband wife, and that takes precedent. And then her illness and all that stuff too. But then I think my wife then started to feel like my sister was coming in between us, and I felt caught in the middle.
Sorry, but she wasn't she? I mean, she was taking a lot
Yes,
of
I
time,
agree.
energy, and resources from you when you're
Yes.
trying to adjust to a new wife, a new kid, an illness
Yep.
that you don't even know when it's going to end or if, right?
Yep. So I did not handle that well the first couple of years because, partially due to the closeness with my sister, it was hard to see her go through what she was going through. Then it was also
Sorry,
hard
why
to
do
see
you
my wife.
say? Sorry, I'm still trying to understand the closeness with your sister. It sounds a little claustrophobic to me. I don't. That's not close. That's kind of codependent, right? Which is
Yeah.
because
And
I'm trying to figure out the whole. Okay, when did the family first say this is not the guy for you? Probably not a good idea.
I think it was after either 6 months or a year.
Okay, so basically she went on for almost a decade, 9 years or 9 years plus, not listening to her family saying, I got this. You're all wrong. I'm right. He is the guy for me.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out why you'd have a shred of sympathy for somebody who ignored your advice, did the wrong thing, kind of insulted you by saying you were totally wrong and maybe you just don't want her to be happy or something like that, and then waits a decade of her life.
Yeah.
I mean, this is literally like saying, you know, you really shouldn't be part of that criminal gang. Oh, no, that criminal gang is really, really bad. No, you're wrong, man. It's criminal. It's not a criminal gang. And then they go to jail. For 5 years, they come out, and then they're crying about how you got to help them.
Yeah.
So that's a dynamic that's interesting. And I think I know that this sounds a bit like we're off the beaten track, but I think this fits into Taco Bell. I know this sounds odd, but I think it does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your sister calls up, and she's like, he broke up with me. He's getting married to someone else, right? And what was your response or reaction to all of this?
I think I'm trying to remember now. To feel
Well, it
bad
was
for
a
her.
huge amount of sympathy, because otherwise
Yeah.
you wouldn't have kept calling, right?
Yeah. Yep. And I wanted to say, like, you always want to say, like, I told you so, right? But didn't say that.
And sorry, why not? Because you did.
Did what?
Well, you did. You did tell her so for 9+ years.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So what's wrong with saying "I told you so"? I mean, because I know people have this weird reaction of, "Oh, I don't want to just say I told you so," and it's like, well, why not? It's important because you got to remind the person
Yeah.
that you had credibility and you were right. Otherwise, they just won't
Yep.
listen next time.
I finally, I told her that I think it was I forget how long after, 6 months, I don't know, sometime after, within the first year. And I could barely get the words out of my mouth, and she stopped me and said, I know, don't say. And that's just kind of the dynamic, I guess. And from there, our relationship kind of I don't know, lessened.
Deteriorated, right?
Yeah.
Of course it did. And do you know why?
Well, and it should have happened much sooner, to your point.
No. Why did your relationship with your sister deteriorate after the breakup?
Because I tried to speak truth, or like be honest, and then she didn't want to hear it.
That's a nice way of saying you lied. Right? You lied. You had thoughts and feelings about this. I assume some exasperation, some impatience, some like... And she probably blamed him, didn't she?
Yeah.
Well, that's retarded. I mean, it's understandable. People do that all the time. But it's wrong. She chose to be in the relationship. She chose to ignore the advice of the people who cared about her the most. I mean, you may have heard this little Bible saying, you reap what you sow, right?
Yep.
So, I'm sure you weren't just like, oh, it's just tragic how this complete terrible thing happened out of nowhere. There must have been some impatience.
I think I was always known, and I used to have endless patience. Too much, maybe.
No, you didn't have endless patience. You lied. Come on. Thou shalt not bear false witness. What does that mean? That means in matters that are important, I mean, in general, we should tell the truth, but certainly in matters that are important for a person's moral development, we should tell the truth, right?
Yes.
So you had a moral lesson to impart to your sister, right?
Yes.
And you didn't, because she said, oh, no, don't tell me. I mean, there's no asterisk on that commandment. Thou shalt not bear false witness, unless it's your sister and she doesn't want you to. What did you want to say to your sister if she had listened and you could speak without blowback or repercussions? What did you want to say to your sister?
That I told her so, and I wish she would have listened.
Okay, that's like 0.01% of what you want to say to your sister about this 10-year disaster. What else? Maybe we can turn to your wife. She might have a few words about this.
I just...
Because it cost you, right? It cost you that she's having these meltdowns while you're pregnant and you guys are trying to navigate. I mean, was she aware that she was imposing on a new marriage where there were babies and sickness?
Somewhat, but she just didn't care.
Right. So she's selfish.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, selfish. That's why he didn't marry her.
It's probably true.
So she caused the not marrying. And then she's crying victim? She chose the guy. Okay, has anyone ever talked to her about her selfishness? And I'm not saying all she is selfish. I'm just saying in this particular area. I mean, did you ever at any point over the, year, you got a sick wife, you've got a pregnant wife, you're trying to navigate married life, and it's terrifying to have that kind of undiagnosed medical ailment, right? That's terrifying because you don't know what the heck is going on. You don't know how on earth it might be solved or whether. And at some point, don't you say to your sister, hello, there's somebody else in the world here called me. How about you ask me about how I'm doing? You know, it doesn't have to be all the time, but once in a while might be a good start. And maybe this is why the guy didn't want to marry you, because you're kind of self-absorbed and selfish. It's all I, me, me, I. You don't ask me anything about how my life is going.
That was I had some calls with her where she just kept going on, and I stopped her at some point. I can't do this anymore.
Okay, but that is saying that it's your issue or problem to some
Yeah,
degree, rather than you're kind of a black hole of attention that never gets filled and it's draining me dry, you vampire. Sorry, I'm not saying you'd say it like that,
yeah,
but something like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right?
Yep, I get your point. Yeah,
So why are you withholding moral correction from your sister? You say you're close. Obviously, you care about her, you love her. Why are you withholding honesty and moral correction from her? We got to look out for each other, right? We all have our blind spots.
yeah,
Because I mean, it's not my sister, so I'm not in the same situation. But I've certainly had friends who absolutely are dating the wrong girl. They're absolutely dating the wrong girl. I say my case, and I say, listen, obviously I can't tell you what to do. Here's the red flags I see, and they go on like a Chinese communist parade. So here are all the red flags I see. You're obviously perfectly free to do whatever you want, date whoever you want. I'm just telling you, when it ends, I don't want to hear a thing. It will end, and it'll end badly. I know that. I don't.
yeah,
No sim. Like the price of you not listening to my good advice is I don't want to hear about it when it ends. Now, if I'm totally wrong, which I could be, then I will be the first one to chip in for your wedding, and I'll give you a great speech, and I'll apologize publicly for doubting it. That'll be my punishment, I suppose, being publicly admitting I was wrong. But if it ends, no sympathy.
yeah. I think having tried to do that one time to her 6 months in or whatever it was in a year, up to a year, and then her not and continuing to not listen. I think I just lost the will to be doing that more. But
But
yeah,
that's
I don't know.
not very Christian of you, my friend. Because
Agreed.
I'm not going to lecture you guys on Christianity. The last thing you'd want from me. But I will say that whether it's Christianity or philosophy, withholding moral correction from those we love is an act of sabotage, and it's actually quite selfish on your part, because y'all should have had a significant intervention. I have no idea how this crap lasted for a decade with a family around her who claims to care about her. Why on earth didn't somebody sit down with the two of them and say, okay, it's been 18 months or 16 months or 14 months or wherever. Where is this going? What is happening? This woman needs her 20s. If she wants to have kids, she can't just waste all of these years. What is happening? What is going on? I mean, I don't quite understand the family structure here, where this woman, through whatever weird addiction she's got, loses a decade of her most precious fertile years. I'm sorry, I'm just having trouble understanding why the family wouldn't do something about this.
Yeah, I think so. My dad was kind of non-existent with the relationship, which feeds a little bit why I think
But you
I
know that. You told me that at the very
yeah,
beginning. That's why you had to
yeah.
parent your sister. So why didn't you?
Well, I don't think I fully realized what I was. I knew I had a close relationship with her, or thought I did, I should say, but I didn't realize what the relationship was at the time. It was only afterwards I think that I realized
Sorry, which
it
relationship?
was
With your
because of her.
sister?
Yeah, to be like semi-fathering, if you want to call it that. I didn't.
Okay,
We
that's
were
fine.
close.
But in your
Yeah.
20s, you knew that she was wasting year after year with this
Yes.
guy. So why did that go on?
There were multiple times where I tried to tell her,
No, him. There's no point telling her, she's the addict, right?
yeah,
So you sit down with him, say, listen, man to man, come on, like, stop it. Like, marry her
yep.
or leave.
Never saw much of him. That was part of the problem too. In different states for 9 of the 10 years, but
Oh
could
no,
still call, I guess.
no! Please, don't do that. Don't embarrass us all by saying there was a distance problem when you and I are talking across a country and talking about some serious and deep things. Right? It's not, and also if you would fly out if you care about her, right?
Yeah, I made, yeah,
Because she was making terrible decisions for 10 years. Now, how many daughters do you have?
true.
Okay, so you know why I'm talking to you about this, right? It's not much to do with your sister because that's all in the past.
Yeah,
You're a father now, and as a father to a daughter myself, you have to watch out for bad guys. And this guy was a bad guy. You don't burn up 10 years of
yeah,
a woman's young life and then go marry someone else right away. Like that's just being a total asterisk question mark hashtag asterisk guy, right?
Yeah.
So how did he get away with it? He only did it because he knew the family wasn't going to lift a finger and sort it out.
Yeah. And I've learned, so my wife's father, my father-in-law, took a much more active approach to our dating than my dad did to his daughter.
You know, I keep trying to give you some responsibility, and who do you turn to? This is the third time now. Who do you turn to? Whenever I say, right, you or the family as a whole, right? There's lots of people in the family, lots of males, aunts, uncles, brothers, whoever, right? Lots of males. Who do you turn to? Who do you hold up as a human shield? I'm sorry?
I'm not sure what you're saying.
Well, I keep saying, right, why didn't you do this? And you say, well, my father was passive. And I say, well, why didn't the family deal with this? And you say, well, my father didn't take, like, I'm not talking about your dad. And you already know this about your dad, that he's passive. So you can't blame passivity on your dad, who you already know is passive, because that's a bad thing and you've already identified it. If you know your dad's passive, then you know you have to be more active, right?
Yeah.
So you can't blame your passivity on your dad when the first thing you told me about your dad was that he was passive and absent and you had to raise your sister. So already know that about your dad.
Yeah,
I can't say there's no lifeguard, but I expect the lifeguard to save the drowning kid. I can't say, well, there's no lifeguard at the beach, but I didn't go save the kid because, hey, there's no lifeguard at the beach. It's like, well, if you know there's no lifeguard at the beach, you didn't go in and save the kid. So if your dad's passive, that means it's up to you.
Yep.
Or the other males, right? I don't know if you're the oldest. I don't know where you are in the birth order, but all the other males. How many brothers does she have?
Just me.
Just
well,
you.
One other one. He's much younger, and yeah. I've learned. What I was trying to say is I've learned since then, what I should have known then. My eyes have been opened. What I should have done.
And so, and when did you get that revelation?
Well, like I was saying, my father-in-law took a much more active approach to our relationship. And that was the first time I've seen that. And I want to model somewhat of that to my daughters.
Right. And what's your relationship like with your sister now?
Mostly surface level.
And have you ever apologized to her?
I don't think so, no.
I mean, do you regret not being more,
Yeah,
or even remotely firm or decisive with regards to her losing a decade of her life?
yeah,
Because you all just let it happen, right? Now, again, she's an adult. I get all of that. But, we all have our weaknesses. And clearly she was addicted to this guy in some manner. And now, do you know why you didn't do it? And saying that your father is passive doesn't answer anything. Because you saw your father's passivity. You already backfilled it by trying to half-raise your sister. So you already know about the passivity. So why didn't the family act to save her from herself?
It's probably fear of losing the relationship maybe with her.
Right, because she's
I can
volatile,
see,
and if you try to stand up, like if you went to talk to this guy and he broke up with her, she'd blow up at you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So? I mean, there's a guy who got literally nailed to a cross to do the right thing. Nobody's asking you to do that.
Yeah.
Just, endure your sister's ill temper until her head clears, right?
Yeah.
So in the family, that level of love where you can put up with a negative in order to achieve a positive. Right? Like, this old meme, it's sort of between men and women, right? There's a meme which is like, the woman who's fat says to her friends, am I fat? And no, you're beautiful, blah, 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 right? And the guy says to his friends, am I fat? And the guys are like, hey, man, I know 5 fat guys and you're 4 of them. Right? Which is, guys could be blunt with each other and say the things that need to be said. And for a lot of women, a lot of sort of female interactions, it tends to be a little bit more claustrophobic. Like you see all this positivity stuff, and it doesn't matter how you look. And it's like, well, no, it does. It's kind of like it's like a weird kind of sabotage thing that happens. So in the family, is there not that dedication to say and do the right thing? And if people are upset, you can sympathize, but that doesn't stop you.
No, that was not present, really.
Right. So doesn't this mean that it's kind of tough for you to be a kind of leader in your current family? Because a leader has to make tough decisions, and a leader has to be blunt and honest. And not only if it upsets people, but especially when it upsets people. I mean, I say this as a guy who has occasionally upset a few people in the world by being blunt and honest. So maybe you guys do, but that's what it takes to be a leader, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And certainly that's what it takes for your wife to trust you.
Yeah.
So what's the barrier to that leadership, or if we don't want to say leadership, to that honesty and directness? And I say this with no criticism. We all struggle with it, so I'm not trying to be any kind of superior here, but I'm just genuinely curious. In your case, because we all have our own different blocks, but in your case, what is the block to that kind of honesty and directness?
Probably fear of losing relationships, whatever relationship it might be. And I don't know.
And where does that come from? It can't come from your sister, because you're older, right? And it has to come from some other template. Is that why your father's so cucked? Is that why he's so flaccid? Because he's afraid of your mum dumping him or something like that?
He's not been able to, or actually, they have their marriage issues, and
if you could do me a favor, you have this, they have their, it's like this staccato thing, and it sounds like you're wrestling with some demon in your throat or something like that. I feel like there's a huge amount of self-censorship going on, which just makes the conversation kind of slow and a little spacey. So if you could just try and push through that and just communicate directly, that would be excellent. Please.
Yeah, I'm just thinking through it more, but
No, don't, because thinking through it is a way of not communicating. You're sort of trying to pick your words and be diplomatic, and this is a time for directness, right? So I don't need you to be diplomatic or hesitant, or what if this is wrong, or like you just need to speak from the heart, right? Otherwise it just feels very censorious, and I have to try and puzzle out what's in the spaces between the words. So why do you fear losing relationships if you tell the truth? Where does that come from? It's not natural. We're not born that way, right? We're only, sorry to interrupt right after your back, but you understand, we're all born with the absolute need to make other people incredibly uncomfortable in order to survive, right? I don't have to tell you guys this. You have 14,000 babies under the age of 2 months, if I remember my math correctly. So babies cry, and they scream, and they wail and gnash their teeth and so on, so that you can help them, right? So our foundational relationships are based on survival through discomfort, right? So we start off with this template of, yes, you absolutely have to cause discomfort in order to survive. So that has to change, that has to be reversed, and that's not a peaceful reversal. That's usually a threatened reversal. If that makes sense. So just so you know, we're starting from the template of You tell the truth, though the skies fall. You tell the truth and shame the devil. You tell the truth, and it doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable to other people. But you have to tell the truth, because if you don't tell the truth, there is no relationship.
Right.
It's a pretend relationship. It's a pseudo-relationship. But you can't have a relationship without the truth. So somewhere the principle of be direct and honest, which babies and toddlers have, was reversed. And I guess that's my question, is how did that happen?
And that, I think it gets back to your question of our family. Well, my family never had that. There wasn't that level of directness. Yeah.
Now, again, I hate to be a nag, but I'm going to, because I'm just talking about the virtue of directness. What you said is not true. So it's not that your family did not have that directness. It's not that your family did not have that directness. It had to be, in order to reverse the directness of infancy and toddlerhood into this mishmash of avoidance and self-erasure, there has to be massive pressure and threats applied.
Right.
So it's not that they didn't have it. It's that it was actively attacked and punished and threatened. It had to be that, because how on earth could you reverse it from the directness of infancy and toddlerhood into this spacey avoidance? That has to be the result of, well, it didn't just fade away. You know, it's like a hugely broken arm. It didn't just happen. Something had to break it. So what happened to punish honesty and directness? How was it threatened and punished?
I don't know really. I guess a couple things that come to mind is my mom would not listen to my dad when he would try to lead. Whenever someone would try to assert themselves, I guess whoever it might be, it would shut down. And I don't really know what the cause.
There's a weird one time we were on, I think it was the first vacation I ever went on with you guys, right after we got married, with your whole family. And they were like, what should we do today? And I said what I wanted to do that day. And they all got upset that I was ruling what we did that day by stating what I wanted, and that wasn't fair, and that we were supposed to all kind of skirt around the issues until we could figure out subliminally what people wanted to do.
That's a good example, yeah.
That's great. That's a great description. It's like these psychic mosquitoes need to pass between everyone and coalesce into some kind of plan. So that's fascinating.
How my family works, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It doesn't work, obviously, right?
No, yeah, I know.
So that's fascinating. So this is to your wife, right? So his family says to you, what do you want to do? And you, crazy fool that you are, think that they're actually asking you what you want to do. Because you come from a more direct family, right?
Yes.
So what do you want to do? Oh, okay, so they must know what I want to do. I want to go to the beach. And then they're like, oh, which is weird, right?
Well, they were like, why are you making us go to the beach?
No, did they literally say, why are you making us go to the beach?
It was basically like
that was the feeling, yeah. Because it's almost like by saying something, they feel forced to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so where does that come from? Who does that come from?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
that was because he was transplanted many states away while we were dating. He saw me with my family all the time. And I didn't really see him with his family much.
Wow. Excuse make much? That's a good one. Well, I just couldn't have known,
probably.
really, because I hadn't seen... You had seen him with his family because you'd seen him, and he's an effect of his family. So his personality had to have been formed by them, so you met them before you met them through him and his behavior, right? He must have been over-solicitous With you, right? What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to like? It must have been that sort of stuff. Like he kind of been super assertive from that kind of family, and then it just vanished, and then vanished again.
That's true.
Okay,
I
so
probably just told him to figure out what he wanted and do that.
sorry, I don't know what you mean.
Or
So how did you see your husband when you were dating before you met his family?
Mhm.
How did you see the effects of this bizarre, though not uncommon, family structure?
Camping booster? I came out a little
Well,
bit camping booster.
no, the camping trip with her while we were dating,
With who?
we left it. We went while we were dating. We did a camping trip with his sister, and so that was the first family member of his I met.
Sorry, I thought she was camping on this guy's lawn. Okay, so she went to a different kind of camping. Sorry, just kidding. Go on.
Yeah, and I we were driving home after like the weekend camping trip, and I was like, "Oh, I thought that went well." And then apparently he looked at me horrified and said that it went terribly and that she couldn't stand me.
What? Interesting. Okay, go on.
And it was very bizarre because I thought it was fine. I thought she was like not particularly friendly and like I didn't really like her, but I thought that considering the very low opinion I had of her, that it went fine because I thought that the 10-year relationship thing was insane and that,
But it wasn't 10 years at that point, was it?
well, it was like 8 years or something at that point.
Okay, so
Which,
you turned to your wife. No, was she a wife yet?
no, we were dating
Dating. Okay, and how long into the relationship?
6 months,
If that.
5 months,
All
six
right.
months,
So, I mean, obviously, how long were you guys dating before you got married?
like 12 months, 13 months.
You know, it's so nice to hear a sane answer. I got to tell you, these shows run the gamut, and either it's like 72 hours or 12 years. It's nice to hear a sane answer like a year seems about right. Okay. So this is your husband. You go camping with your sister. How did you know your sister hated she wasn't your fiance yet, though I assume that was coming pretty quickly.
No. Yeah.
But did you
I
have some
think I
idea you
heard.
wanted to marry her?
So at that point, definitely liked her and could see her as the one, but I don't think I decided at that point. Or
No,
like
but you could see it, right?
Yes, yep. It was on the path towards it, yes.
Okay. So, I mean, had you fallen in love? Had you said the I love you kind of stuff?
No, not at that point.
Okay. But it's serious enough that you're going camping with a family member, right? And this was
Yeah,
the first family
yeah,
member.
beginning of it, yeah.
This is the first family member that she'd met. Is that right?
Yes.
You met my parents before, maybe not.
I don't think so. I don't
Okay,
think I met
maybe,
your
maybe.
parents until like 7 or 8 months in. Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's wrong.
I bet.
I'm really wrong with that. I forgot about that. We did do a trip. It was like 2 months into dating up to where he's from. And I did stay with his parents and him that weekend
Mm-hmm.
before we flew back.
Then it was a couple months later that we went camping with my sister, I think.
Okay, let's just go to the camping thing because I think that's really fascinating. I mean, it's all really fascinating. I don't mean to divide it into interesting and not. It's all really fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so 5 months in, obviously you care about her because she's met your family and she's now going camping with your sister. So this is to the husband.
Yeah.
Why? I'm just going to call you guys Bob and Alice because the husband all sounds too abstract. If that's all right. Okay, so to Bob. Why did you think that your sister hated Alice?
I think it was afterwards she had told me. I'm trying to remember now because I don't.
Well, you
Did
and
she reveal
her,
it from the
I
beginning?
think you and her went off on some long walk the last night of the weekend camping trip.
Okay, maybe.
And I think, and I didn't think too much of it. I don't know. Apparently it was her spilling well, all the reasons that she didn't like me and thought I
Did
was
we-
Okay,
a
so
asshole.
sorry, Bob, why is it hard? You were actually in that conversation. Why is it hard to answer this question? What did your sister say? What did she say that she disliked?
What did she say that she disliked about my wife?
Mm-hmm. Good
Yeah.
scolding tactic. We're only
Um,
talking about one person here. So go ahead.
So
Now,
she
you don't have
said,
to give me all the details if it's really unpleasant or whatever, and obviously not true, because you're married and happy. But
I think
go
I
ahead.
think she was surprised by she didn't like the directness, number one, but interesting given what we talked about earlier, right? But she didn't like the directness. She felt that she wasn't being included, even though
She wasn't
she
being
had to
what?
take a work. Didn't feel she was being included because she had to take a work call. So then my wife and I, at the time, girlfriend, we walked around the lake, I think it was,
Hmm.
and then we came back too late for her. So she got upset at that point because we were not including her. Something dumb like that.
Oh my
Uh,
God. How old was your sister at this point?
24,
Well, you
25,
were 27, so she
25,
would have been
25.
25.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, she would have just turned 26 because it
Oh,
was
so
summer.
she'd been in this relationship with this guy at this point since she was 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so bizarre. She's on a work call, you walk around the lake, and you come back a little too late for her tastes.
Yeah.
And when your sister said, I don't like your girlfriend because you walked around the lake, I know there was obviously other stuff too. What did you say?
Trying to remember.
Okay, what did you think about that as a criticism of?
Yeah, I thought it was unreasonable, and I think I told her something to the effect of, "We didn't know when you were going to be done, so we just kept walking around. We were waiting to get a call from you."
Oh,
And
so
she never called.
you you tried to defend the details
Yeah,
as opposed to saying,
rather than
this is why the guy won't marry you, right? This crazy neediness, or like, this is nuts.
right,
You took
right,
a work call. We could say, well, you excluded us. No, you took a work call. We walked around the lake. I don't care when we came
yeah,
back. It's completely irrelevant.
yeah. It's true.
So why did you go to your girlfriend and say, my sister hates you?
Well, I don't think he said it that way at the time.
Okay. We can massage it however we want, but that's what I was told was transmitted. Now, again, we can say, oh, my sister has some issues or whatever. So you expressed your sister's dislike of Alice. Is that right, Bob? To Alice.
I think so. Or I said like she didn't have a good time. I don't know, something like that.
Okay. Alice,
Yeah, it
you
could have
remember
something like
this
she
because women
didn't.
are sticky vaults with this kind of stuff, right? So what
Yeah.
did he say?
If I am remembering it rightly, it was something like, that's not how she felt about it.
Okay.
When
Now,
I
what was your
explained it, I thought it
impression?
went pretty well.
I'm sorry. So you said you thought you had a good time, and the reason you said that is your family's direct, right? So if
Yes.
she didn't say she had a problem with you, then you'd assume that there's no problem because your family's more direct. So she complains about Alice to Bob, and then you go to Alice and say, in response to your sister saying I had a good time or think that pretty well, saying no, she doesn't like you or something like that, right?
I think he said she doesn't feel the same way or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. So
It's
he
more like
wasn't even
didn't have a good
direct
time.
about
Didn't
that,
have a good
right?
time.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
He wasn't even direct about that.
That's true, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So why would you so when you said that, what was your sort of thought or feeling about the conflict between your sister and your girlfriend? Or
When
to
she
put it
said,
another way, who was in the wrong?
so my sister, or I'm not sure what you're asking. I guess I'm confused. But
Okay, so
my
when
sister,
you're saying my sister doesn't like you, Who was
Okay,
wrong?
I
Was
should.
your sister right to not like your girlfriend?
Oh no, yeah, my sister was wrong
Okay.
because
So,
I'm
Alice,
raising
did
all
he
her. Yeah.
communicate that my sister doesn't like you for completely insane reasons? I can't believe it. She's totally in the wrong.
No.
Okay, so why not? Again, I'm telling you, Bob, I'm not trying to pick on you because don't worry, we'll get to Alice, right? But I'm just trying to point out that this bearing false witness is you're lying. And I'm not saying you're some big liar, and but in terms of it's false. If you think your sister's crazy for the criticism she has of Alice, and then you tell Alice your sister doesn't like her, and don't take Alice's side and disavow your sister's crazy problems, then you have a loyalty to Alice at the expense of your sister that you genuinely believe, but you're not saying to Alice.
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know why.
I mean, I'm sorry to just keep harping on the faith. See, get it? Faith and harp. Anyway, but and Ireland, come to think of it. So, but this is honesty, isn't it? This is, I mean, whether you say it's just be honest or thou shalt not bear false witness, isn't this
Yeah, it's being forthright and truthful. Yeah.
right? So if you say, and listen, I don't want to speak for Alice here, but for women, it's kind of a big deal if his sister, who he's very close to, doesn't like you, right?
Yes, except that I already didn't like her
I get
from what
that.
I'd
It's
heard about
also a
her.
big deal that you didn't like her
Yes, it
because
is.
you're marrying into this family and your husband says, I'm super close to my sister and you don't like each other.
This is very obvious when you say it that way.
But it wasn't at the time?
It was in some ways, but not to the extent once you've lived it.
Well, and it certainly did turn out to be a big problem when you had babies and sickness and a pathologically needy codependent sister leading in your ear like Iago every night.
Yeah.
So it kind of did
We
turn out.
almost did break up right after getting engaged over his sister.
Well, so that's what I'm trying to sort of figure out because this is a very big deal. This is a very big deal because
Yes.
when two women, and this can happen with men too, but so when two women are facing each other as enemies, right? Then you, Bob,
Yeah.
as the man, are caught in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, which side was right?
My wife's, which is why I married her, because yeah,
No,
she
no,
just
it's
said
no,
we almost
no,
broke up
no.
when we were
It's
engaged.
not enough to marry her.
Right.
What should you have done?
I should have silenced my sister more. And that's what I was getting to is that um before before it was after the engagement, before the wedding, I think. Um, my sister then said additional things that she didn't like about my fiance at the time. And I then stopped talking to my sister. Well, like I don't know if I said it. I'm trying to remember the conversation with her, but like at that point, I didn't. I said I disagree, and then I went forward with getting engaged and or the wedding. I forget the I guess sequence there, but um, then that made her all the more upset that I chose to ignore her feelings over the matter. But
You chose to ignore
uh,
her feelings, and she's
yeah,
insulting the woman you love and want to marry. But apparently, her
yeah,
feelings are all that matter. Oh, she's toxic.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so then you stopped
These are
talking to her for some period of time?
well, no. Then it came. That's the problem. There. That's when it came. So I stopped talking to her until getting married. Then because it's like, okay, I've heard your opinion, but I disagree. So just gonna get married. But then
Okay, so
it was after that
everything,
probably then that.
sorry, Bob, everything there is false, except for the getting married part. Everything there is false. Your sister did not put this forward as an opinion, did she?
What do you mean? Not
Well, an opinion is something that is subjective, right? As opposed to a fact, right?
Okay, yeah. I'm sure she probably presented it as like a fact.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is what.
She
Yeah,
is this way. She's insensitive. She doesn't do this. She didn't. She walked around the lake, and
yeah,
she's so. So when you say that's your opinion, that's not the case because it wasn't her opinion. It was a fact for her, right? Or a series of facts and a series of pretty damning facts, right? She was condemning
for
the
her. Yeah,
personality
yeah,
of the woman you love, right? And the character and
yeah,
the morals of the woman you love, right?
yeah,
Okay, so it was not an opinion. It was an absolute fact and condemnation and judgment, right?
yeah.
And it was not the case that you disagree. You know, if somebody says to me,
Right.
I don't know,
That's
Paul
true. Yeah,
McCartney is a better singer than Freddie Mercury, right? It's like, well, yeah, I disagree. It's just an opinion, right? This is not. But if somebody says,
disagree. Yeah,
if somebody
yeah.
says 2 and 2 make 5, I don't just disagree with them. They're wrong.
Yep, she's wrong. Yes, I should. I did not say that though, but you're right.
So no. But this is important because this is about loyalty. This is about loyalty.
Yeah,
Anyone who condemns the woman you love, oof. I mean, I just say this from my own personal experience. I had a very close family member say to me that he wasn't going to bother to get to know my wife because we were just going to get divorced anyway. And I didn't even debate. Oh, I disagree. And like, sorry, I don't mean to mock you, but it's like, no, it's just like, you're done. Like, we're done. We're done. Don't you step between my heart and its object, right? And what I love and what I treasure. If you don't see the immense beauty that is my bride to be, we have nothing in common, and I want to have nothing to do with it.
yeah,
So, you are way too diplomatic and not
yeah,
decisive enough, right? And there is, I think, a certain amount of honesty, dishonesty in that, right? It must have been pretty
yeah,
appalling for you, for your sister, to condemn the morals and character of the woman you love.
yeah.
So, when your sister says that, how long before the wedding did she say that?
I don't remember. Um,
It was probably within a few months.
yeah, not a
So
couple
a
months.
few
Yeah,
weeks before, oh my gosh. So a few weeks before the wedding, she's kind of trashing your bride to be.
Yeah.
So why would she be at the wedding, which is a celebration of love, with a woman who hates the bride? And not just hates her, but judges her morally as bad in terrible ways, right? Significant ways.
I knew at the time I shouldn't have done it, but I changed the wedding date for her too.
Oh my gosh! What, are you kidding me?
I wish I was.
I wonder if this is maybe helpful. I don't know how this is helpful, but
What
like
is going on?
it's almost,
This family structure.
it's
Sorry,
almost,
go on.
yeah. Well, maybe just connect this back to the Taco Bell story, right? It's almost a similar thing where I didn't do what was right and I should have done for my wife, for us, but then she ends up like not giving in, but I don't know, yeah, giving, I guess, for lack of a better term, giving in at least marginally.
Well, do
Well,
you
And
remember
then
how I
it
said
like
I was going to
leads,
turn like a rabid dog on Alice?
I have a little bit of
Hold up
resolution
that padded
ready to
arm,
go.
sister. It's coming.
but
I'm not ready.
there's
Yes,
some
you are.
connection there.
You've had
Yeah.
19 babies in 3 weeks. You can handle it. All right, Alice,
Okay.
my good friend.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
This absolute wretch of a sister who won't take even the slightest criticism of her own relationship is perfectly happy to trash an engagement. I mean, you understand the hypocrisy here is demonic, almost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She later called our wedding the worst day of her life.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm trying not to have an I'm just massaging my temple here to try and clear the
We,
aneurysm.
well, so we both
Feel it
maybe
gathering. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah,
No,
we
don't tell
both
me
come
anymore. Let me get rid of this bulge first. Okay, go ahead.
we both come from very messed up families, just in different ways.
No, I'm focusing on Alice now. You've had your
Yeah,
turn.
I'll stop talking. Maybe I'll stop talking. Go ahead.
When you said the divided loyalties thing, and then I married somebody who wasn't loyal, I was like, holy
Oh,
crap, my mom did that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, nice way to distract me with your childhood, and we'll get to that in a sec.
Yep.
But let's focus on
Okay.
the chomp first. Okay. So, Bob is not honest and direct, and Alice, neither are you in some areas. So, when your sister squared off against you, you knew it was a big deal, right? Is this the sibling he claimed to be closest to?
Yes, I knew it was a big deal.
This is a big
Definitely.
deal, right? Did you
I
say
knew
to
that.
him, this is a very big deal. This is going to be a big issue. We're going to have to figure this one out.
I think I basically said that, yeah.
Okay, and Bob, what do you remember of that?
'cause you said that first before we got married, and that was when we almost broke up. And then I'm sure you said it afterwards, well, multiple times, probably. Sure.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry, sorry. So this is a big deal. You've got this woman who dislikes you for, it sounds like, pretty petty and terrible reasons, and who herself cannot manage any kind of relationship, and God help the planet is now a therapist. But
brag.
Yeah.
you moved the wedding, and you did
Yeah.
not demand that your husband take your side no matter what. And what does the Bible say? A man and his wife, a husband and a wife, become what?
Flash.
One flesh.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a problem with my wife, you have a problem with me. Not just like, well, I disagree with your opinion. If you hate her, you hate me, because we're one flesh.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad did say that stuff to you about your sister.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
But when it like kind of was blowing up, I don't know if it was right before we got engaged or after. And
Before.
I was talking about it with my parents and some with my husband, Bob. And my dad met with him and told him that he had to do something about the Lisa thing, or he didn't support us getting married.
Okay. And?
Was that when you stopped talking to her for a time?
I don't remember now. What was the kid? When did Lisa first share? Sister.
Yeah.
What happened after? Because that was before engagement.
Because then we met together after that,
Yeah.
and I was prepared to break it off. Even though, yeah, I think we were like half an hour from engagement almost at that point. But then we didn't, and I don't remember why.
At some point, things not got better, but like somehow you got more okay with it, but probably just looked past it or something. Because at some point, then you communicated to your dad that it was okay or something. Because then he then told me, okay, you have my blessing again. But it wasn't resolved. Maybe I
So
did
wait,
stop.
sorry, your
I don't
father-in-law,
know.
Bob, your father-in-law gave a big speech about this has to be resolved. It wasn't resolved, and he just went ahead with everything anyway?
I don't remember. Um,
I'm assuming there must have been some type of declaration of like, I won't let her come between us, and what she said was wrong.
yeah, I think I sided with something. I said or did some things to make you feel assured, and then you shared that with your dad, and then from
Sorry,
there he
say that
trusted.
again. I didn't quite follow that. My apologies.
See, I must have said something to my wife now about like she's wrong. I decided like I want to marry you. I would have said I want to marry you, but like we weren't engaged then. Somehow I assured her that it would
Not happen
yeah,
again.
not happen again. My loyalties were with her, and that got her comfortable enough somehow. Yeah, I think we're both fuzzy on the details there.
Yeah. I like truly cannot remember
Yeah.
how that it must not have really gotten resolved because I don't
No,
remember.
it wouldn't have been because then it came up, yeah, after.
Okay, so Bob, what did your family think about your sister and all of this stuff?
Trying to remember now. Did they know? They were supportive of us. They didn't spend a lot of time with my wife before we got married because they had different states, but they were supportive. Uh, I don't know how much they knew. Do you remember at all about you?
I don't think they liked me because of my personality.
Yeah, you were very
They
different than
didn't,
us back then, yeah.
but they didn't like dislike me at the time.
Yeah, so it
Sorry,
wasn't like
which
an
time are we
extremely,
talking here?
Well, in the dating early marriage phase,
Okay.
that's his parents didn't
Okay. So I
like
assume,
me,
sorry
but
to
they
interrupt.
were.
I assume that the sister would have vented her dislike of you, Alice, to the family, to Bob's family, because they're family, right?
yeah, probably, but my sister was also a little bit, not estranged, that's a little bit too strong. Um, Definitely estranged from my mom at the time.
And still is.
And so as, yeah, somewhat, I don't know, close is the right word with my dad, but like, so I don't know how much she would have shared. But probably, to your point, she probably did share something, just not sure.
I feel like she would have shared a fairly significant amount with your
Yeah,
dad
I would imagine. Yeah, I never
because
heard.
he kind of does the nods along to the feelings until and then says something else to someone else later.
Yeah, but I never heard anything. I don't think from them about
So they never
the
said,
whole.
"Look, you've got a conflict between your fiance and your sister, so we need to sit down and work this stuff out."
Right, and I don't think so. And I think that's part of the problems of the family I grew up with, and now that I carry in now, I guess.
Okay, so
Is it's
why?
not
Sorry, go
we
ahead.
didn't work through conflicts. Yeah, we didn't really work through conflicts. My dad would try to as a family, but it just never worked, and we weren't able to. There's a lot of interpersonal conflicts between different members of the family, and we learned to all not learn to get along with fake relationships. Is that a fair way of trying to put that?
Yeah, probably.
So you
And
lie.
my family probably
No,
wasn't
I
much
mean there's
different.
a lot. This is a lot of words. So you
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah, there's yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of dishonesty and like just
And
covering
we
up. Yeah.
and we both do it with both of our families
Oh,
And
sorry.
which
I
gets
thought Alice.
in
I thought
different
your
ways.
family was more. Oh, just in different ways.
Yeah, it there is a lot of directness in some ways, but then not in some of the most fundamental ways.
Okay. So in what is their directness? And I don't count the sister crabbing about you as directness. I just view that as discontented sabotage.
Yeah.
So where is the directness showing up?
From
You said the families are direct in some ways and indirect in others, and I'm not doubting you, of course. I'm just want to know where does the
I
directness
was
show
saying
up?
that well, my family's directness showed up in how my dad actually sat my husband down when we were just before engagement with the
Yes, but it
sister.
didn't matter.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's because my side, which is a lot more direct, is not fundamentally honest.
And what are they not honest about?
Oh boy, where do you even
Skip
start
conflict.
with that?
Well, I was going to make a general comment. I guess I think that there's the like boldness and directness up front, but then it's not like carried through. which is kind of the same way of saying it's not honest down
Oh,
deep.
so it's like some sort of honesty, but without any consequences.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good way of
No
just
follow through.
Issues.
It doesn't really mean anything.
right.
Yeah. Like there were issues, significant issues in my family, my parents' marriage when I was a child, and it came to a head when I was like 13. And at that point, my dad decided to go no contact with his family. And that
Sorry,
lasted
which family?
his parents and siblings.
And do you know why he did that?
Because his whole family, like his immediate family, was like splitting apart at the time.
That doesn't really answer anything because I don't really know what any of that means.
It's
Um,
complicated.
uh,
So many rabbit trails of important stuff. I like it.
I
it
mean,
was
no,
such a
let
mess.
me see if I can just sort of make it a bit clearer. So, from what you know of your dad's conflict with his family, did you agree with his decision to go no contact?
I did agree with it, but I was extremely upset in how it happened. And like, I felt like it should have been done far, far sooner.
And what were the major issues? Was it about dishonesty? Was it about abuse? Was it about neglect? Was it about lack of loyalty? What was the major issue or issues that your father had with his parents?
They didn't like my mom.
Ah, sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but you see the pattern.
Comes
here,
all
right?
around. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that like half an hour ago in the
Oh, I know. You
conversation,
mentioned it. I'm not trying to claim any prize here for restating what you said
Yeah.
about half an hour ago. So yeah, okay. So the pattern
Yeah.
is clear, and it's just like, but
Yeah.
but your father did cut off his parents because they disapproved of your mother, right?
Only once it went past him and her, because I had gone on a sleepover with my grandparents, which we used to do occasionally. They'd like, take us out to dinner, or like they'd pick a grandkid, take you out to dinner, and then you could go shopping and buy some clothes and then spend the night and have a leisurely breakfast and go home. It
Oh,
was
how
usually
lovely.
kind of like a nice time. But my grandmother, my dad's mother, used that time to explain to me all of the ways in which my mother was a terrible mother and did not love me or my father.
Oh my gosh, that's absolutely appalling. That's absolutely appalling. Okay, so loyalty
and my
is not,
mother
sorry. Go ahead.
and my mother was the more emotionally distant of my parents, and uh, she and I are like I'm much more like my dad and not like her. Like we don't really get each other on a wavelength like she does with my sister. So we always had more conflict between us.
Right.
And this was the grandmother that I like felt an identity with. And like so like I like believed her on a lot of things. And then my parents like never really addressed it with me.
So you believed her about how bad your mother was?
Because in some ways she was right.
Right.
Like my mother isn't perfect or not even close.
Yeah, it's kind of come up since then at different times where I can see it. She maybe tries to care about my wife, but because there's a lot of selfishness there, I think. So there's some elements of truth, but it's not something you tell your granddaughter, of course.
Yes, of course.
But it's like it's believable, if that makes sense.
Right.
It's easy for my wife to believe.
Well, and it is absolutely. How old were you when your grandmother was telling you all this terrible stuff?
13.
Oh my gosh, that's just poison, right? That's just pure poison.
And it wrecked her next 3 years, like massive depression.
Yeah, and my parents were like, well, since our daughter is a disaster now, and we think you did it. So my mom, was like, if you don't do something about them, then I'm, I don't know. Well, I don't think she ever threatened to leave, but
Your mother to your dad?
yeah.
Gosh, oh gosh, that's. I'm so sorry. That's just wretched. Well, and this is the lack of decisiveness, right?
Yeah.
How did your parents know, or when did your parents find out that their parents were poisoning you?
Well, it was because I treated my mom differently after that. And so mom like wanted to pry into it because it hurt her feelings that I wasn't being nice to her, like I was short with her, or
Hmm.
was being disrespectful to her.
So you were acting out your grandmother's dislike of your mother against your mother, and your parents sort of figured this out, like sort of reverse engineered it.
Yes.
Okay. And you were 13, so I assume that this had been going on for years, or did it only start at 13?
Um, my grandmother always favored me over my siblings. I was the oldest grandchild, and
Like her.
I was the most like her personality-wise. I mean, it's kind of horrifying to think about that I was the most like her. But
Well, very honest. Well, yeah.
mm, but and there was a lot of favoritism. So like my two younger siblings would often like she would bring me a present and not them.
Well, and of course that is also sabotage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Got
And
it.
there would be a reason because like, well, she's had an illness and you guys don't.
Right. But still, I mean,
Yeah.
it's pointless, right? I mean, it just doesn't work.
Yes.
It's just terrible. And of course, there's a lot of
Yeah.
conflict within the family, and then they get to leave with a bunch of discontented, upset kids and sort of roll back to their
Yeah.
lair. Okay.
Yeah.
And leave
Well,
your parents with
and
them.
my dad's sibling lived down the street with their several kids about our ages, and they would be at their house and we'd see their car there all the time. And they would visit us like 2 or 3 times a year.
Oh, gosh.
And they'd be at my cousin's like 3 times a week.
Sorry, who would be?
My grandparents.
They would visit you. You mean
They would
you and
visit,
you when you
no,
were a kid?
no, they would visit my cousins, my dad's
Yeah,
sister's
cousins, yeah.
kids 3 times a week or so,
Right.
and they would stop at our house down the street, like twice a year.
Right. Okay.
My dad was always the least favorite kid for sure.
Well, I mean, he obviously had the most capacity to tell the truth because he didn't end up calling them out and then split, right? So how old were you when he split with his parents?
I would have been 13.
Okay. And when your grandmother over the years had said all these terrible things about your mother, right?
Yes.
Right.
Not to me as much over the years. It was mostly at that one sleepover.
Okay, but she definitely did all that poison, right? So then
But
when
she
you
was
have...
complaining in
Sorry,
my
go ahead.
dad's ear about, but she was complaining in my dad's ear about my mother since the beginning.
Right. So in the same way that Bob's sister is complaining about you and you all have trouble with the toxic femininity, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly the
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So why did you move the wedding date? Why? And I know this sounds like I'm like yelling at you, like why? I mean, but why? I mean, she's a horrible person. She's making she's making your life difficult. She doesn't like it, and she can't honestly say, right? This is the big question, and this is where, y'all are Christians, which is lovely in many ways, but I don't think you got the. If anybody knows any reason why this marriage should not continue, speak now or what?
Forever hold your peace. Yeah.
Shut up. Forever hold your peace. There's a reason for that. It doesn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's so people don't poison a marriage with children in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, my parents' marriage was a nightmare from my entire childhood, and a lot of it was due to that poisoning.
Well, no. Sorry to be annoying and correct you about your own family, but it's not. It's not. Because your dad chose to have that in his life.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Not the parents.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't mean to quote our good buddy Jay, but he says, I have come to set mother against father, brother against sister, which means that when you do the right thing, a lot of times your family will hit the roof. It's right there.
Yeah.
Jesus says it.
Yeah.
And that says if you do the
Yeah.
right thing, your family's going to have meltdowns on a regular basis.
And that's, I don't want to jump us too far, but that's kind of what we're dealing with now with various members of both families.
Yeah, no, but let's get
Is
back.
we're trying to do the
We'll
right
get
thing.
there. We'll get there. So let's go back to the sister and the
Yeah.
wedding, right?
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you?
I moved it.
Sorry, no, but
sorry,
did
go
you
ahead.
want her at your wedding? This is to.
No, I didn't want her there.
Okay, so why wasn't that just a condition of getting married? This woman doesn't like me. She trash talks me. She says I shouldn't get married. I don't want her at my wedding. That's a reasonable thing to say, isn't it?
Yes, I don't think Jason would have, I don't think my husband would have married me if I had made that condition.
Really?
And I wanted to get married. And
So this is to Bob. Is that true? You would have
At the
chosen
time,
toxic, dysfunctional sister over the woman you love? I don't mean to sound appalled. I'm a little surprised. So I'm certainly happy to hear the case. But this is a woman who couldn't run a popsicle stand and can't run her marriage and is negative and gets mad at you guys for taking a walk around the lake and trashes the woman you love. And my God, like, help me understand. You wouldn't have married her if your sister couldn't come to the wedding?
I'm trying to put myself now. I was able to tell my sister, no, like, I'm going forward with this, no matter what you say. But then if the condition or the boundary would have been put in place by my wife, then and push come.
Sorry.
I might not have-
Again, I don't know where your Christianity is, but the boundary is not put in place by your wife.
Right? No. Yeah.
Who puts the boundary
It should have
in?
been me. It should have been me.
No. Who puts the boundary in? Where does don't
God
have people who oppose the marriage at the marriage? Who puts that in? Who puts that in as a requirement for marriage, for getting married?
God.
Exactly. God says this is a celebration of love. Thou shalt not bear false witness means that your sister would have to say, I know of a reason why this marriage shouldn't continue. The wife is horrible. And here's why. And like it would have been a complete disaster, right?
Yep.
So there's a reason why. And it's not coming from you. It should come from your faith.
Yep. And I think it's the hypocrisy maybe of the hypocrisy I was believing that it wouldn't be loving to do that, but that's obviously wrong.
It
But I
wouldn't
was
be
operating
loving
under
to
that.
do that. I don't know where is there thou shalt not bear false witness and don't have people at your wedding who hate your wife and think she's immoral and selfish and mean or whatever other things she said. Loving is telling the truth. Loving is serving God. Loving is serving virtue. Loving is keeping the 10 Commandments. You must love God and virtue. Not crazy, dysfunctional sisters who are trying to sabotage your life.
And that's that's why I'm ashamed to think about that now back then, because it's essentially what I grew up with and what I believed at the time, and it was messed up. And what contributed to some problems.
What came between you and God? Because you have to know what the shadow is, right? There's something because she said that your marriage was the worst day of her life. Now I've heard some ugly stuff over like doing these calls for like, I don't know, coming on for 20 years now, right? So I've heard some ugly stuff. I got to tell you, that's probably in the top 5. Yeah. Of ugly, ugly, ugly things that I've heard. And I've gone to some pretty seriously deep caves, and this is like 14 layers below that.
Yeah.
So the level of vitriol and hatred and contempt and ugliness there, it's off the charts, right?
Yeah. Fully agree.
So What came between you and your faith? What is eclipsing
I,
you and your faith? There's something, and this is virtue,
at the
right?
time, I think it was family. Yeah, I
Okay,
think it
so
was
how is your
family.
family coming between you and God? They raised you Christian, right?
Yeah, I don't. That's the piece I don't know what the answer is. I just think it was right. Clearly, it's family that's coming between me and God, but why? Um,
Okay, so you know the biggest devil
I
is
don't
the
know.
desire for appearance, right?
Yeah,
To have the appearance of virtue rather than actually being virtuous is the biggest
yeah,
temptation, right?
yeah,
I mean, the devil literally offers you the appearance of success when he takes your soul, right? I'll make you famous,
yeah,
beautiful, rich, popular, successful, talented, and everybody envies you, and they think you've got it made, and then you lose your soul, right? And of course,
yeah,
I'm not saying this is a direct reference. I'm just talking about a general principle, right? So
yeah,
the appearance, right?
yeah,
The appearance, right? Jesus obviously looked like he was losing everything, but he gained most of the world, right? So the appearance, is it the focus that, well, we don't want to have the appearance of conflict or problems?
yeah. And that's how I was getting back to your question on the culture of families. That's how I was raised, and that's the mindset I had. I think was appearance and like family must stick together. It's a phrase my mom always says. Like, why can't we just fix our problems in our family? Like, well, there's lots of big issues, but it,
Family must stick together. Okay, so let's say that that's a principle that you and your father agree on, that family must stick together, right? Okay, so what do you
yeah,
do with people who are attacking the family? Because, I mean, the grandmother,
and,
right? Oh, sorry, that was on the
yeah,
other side. But no, so
that's the
so
other side.
with
Yeah,
the
but
sister,
you're right.
right? So what do you do with the
Yeah,
sister? She's attacking. Family must stick together. Okay, well, she's attacking you. So what? You then just
well,
suppress and say that because this is just it's just fueling the bullying. It's like, why
yeah,
is your
yeah,
sister the way she is? Well, in part because your family supports it, because she holds your reputation hostage. It could be an ugly scene at the wedding. She could be difficult. She might make things unpleasant. She might spill the
yeah,
beans. She might say things that are right. So she holds the entire reputation of the family hostage. And I'm telling you, brother and sister, you cannot be good if you're over concerned with your reputation,
yeah.
because otherwise it's used to control you.
We, I grew
Appearance.
up.
Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I grew up with people within my family attacking each other, but the mindset was family sticks together. So how did
But
the
what
two
does that
coexist
mean?
when
What
fam
does that mean?
exactly?
Where's that in the Bible?
No, I agree with you. It's just that's what I was the mindset I
But what
think of
does it
my family.
mean?
We it's the appearance. Family appears to look like we're fine.
Okay, so it's
That
more
there's no
important to
problems here.
look good than to be good.
I think that is a good summary of my upbringing. Would you agree with that? Based on what yeah, I think that's probably a good way of summarizing the culture of my immediate family growing up.
Right. So that means that you embolden and enable and empower bullies, and
Yeah,
good people have to shrink into nothingness and ghostliness.
yeah,
It's the, if you're afraid of people causing a scene, then those people will just threaten to cause a scene to get their way. If you're afraid of emotional discomfort or the family looking dysfunctional, then the people just threaten to make a scene or cause a problem or embarrass you, and you're okay, right? It's literally like parents with toddlers having tantrums. Oh, here's the candy. Okay, shush. No, it's okay. Don't have the candy.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
culture
Yeah.
of fear. It's like living under this shadow of emotional
Yeah.
terrorism and having to obey the craziest people in the environment.
that
And
that's my family. Yeah,
we keep doing it every holiday.
Yeah, so. And after all of this, okay, when did your sister say, sorry, Bob, when did your sister say your wedding was the worst day of her life?
say that. couple years out, a couple years after. I don't remember.
Yeah, my
Okay.
instinct would say about a year after.
Okay.
It probably would have been, yeah, somewhere there.
Okay. So that's just venomous, right? It's absolutely horrible and venomous. And to me, that would just be a total relationship ender. Like I'm just like, good luck, kid. That's just so horrible. I couldn't. And it's not loving to continue a relationship when people do that. Right. Loving is holding people
Yeah,
accountable to virtue and holding them responsible for their lives. So what you're saying is that years after she said that your wedding was the worst day of her life, she's calling you up in tears because you didn't listen to her advice, and you're pouring time, effort, and energy into this little witch because she had a breakup which was entirely predictable. And you know why she broke up,
yeah,
because she's pretty nasty, right? She's verbally abusive.
yeah.
So even after she insulted the very foundation of your marriage and the love of your life and the happiest day of your life, you're still like, oh yeah, no, hey, whatever you need, I'm here for you, sis. Bro, where are your
Yeah, that was the
standards?
first couple of years. Yeah, agreed. And yeah, yeah.
Well, you took a big giant dump on my wedding cake, but let me see what I can do to help you. Ow, and you've never apologized or taken any responsibility for the hurt you caused me over the course of my dating and engagement and marriage. But I'm just here for you, sis. Let me help you.
That was kind of my childhood. I was the, yeah, I guess my dad would come to me when with his problems with my mom, and then my mom would do the same.
I'm sorry, at what age were
So,
you being dumped marital problems on?
um, probably starting for sure college. I don't know how much in high school. Yeah, definitely in college a lot. But I know still living at home in early college.
Okay, but not as like a
Um,
kid.
right.
No, I'm not. I'm just checking.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember myself like when it started. Because they had issues for a while, but when did the actual, yeah, maybe late high school, but yeah, definitely late high school or early college. And then it just kind of continued from there for a while. It's reduced some
Oh, it's still
fair
going
amount.
on.
It's largely because I've stopped. I've started telling them like that's not my place, and my wife has helped me with that.
Do your
Realize I
parents know
need
that your sister
boundaries.
referred to your wedding day as the worst day of her life?
I don't know.
So she just said it to you, and you don't think she said it to them?
She probably did say it to them, I would imagine. So yeah, I did not hear her tell them, but I did not tell them. I
But
don't
why
think.
wouldn't you tell your parents? I mean, they're coming to you with all their problems. Why wouldn't you come to them with this? Saying this is a big
Yeah,
problem. And this is a problem, by the way, mom and dad, that come out of the woman you raised. So you fix it.
yeah. I don't really take problem. And my wife just said this to me. I don't really take problems to them.
No, no. You're not
That,
taking your problem. You're
no, I
identifying
know.
their problem. You
Yeah,
raised a really nasty daughter. You need to fix this,
yeah.
right? You need to get her to
You're
apologize,
right.
and you need to get her to shape up. And I don't know where she gets off thinking she can say this absolutely appalling stuff to people, but you got to fix this. You're the parents. It's your job. You raised her. So go to it. What would happen
Yeah.
if you said that?
My dad, he he would see the problem, but probably not do anything about it because he would know it's his life where he hasn't been able to do anything about it or hasn't done anything about things.
Okay, but you enable that
Yep,
by withholding problems from him. So you're saying to him,
yep,
Dad, I
yep.
don't have any faith that you can be a halfway decent parent Because a halfway decent parent,
Yeah.
A, would not raise a daughter like that, and B, the moment he caught whiff of something like that, he would absolutely sit down and have it all worked out, one way or
Yeah.
another.
Yep. Yeah, I fully agree.
So, do you recognize how different a parent you need to be than your father?
Yeah, for sure.
And have you sat down ever with him and talked to him about the absence of parenting that you experienced, the absence of fatherhood?
I don't think so.
I think you'd remember. Don't don't hedge me now, bro.
No.
I think you'd remember that conversation, wouldn't you?
I've talked to him about how my sister felt she did not have a father. I did not talk about myself. So
Why
we've
not?
had it,
Why not?
just not directly
Why not?
me.
Why not?
But I should. It's the same thing where I don't
No, I'm not
take
criticizing
problems.
you. I'm
Yeah.
genuinely curious. Why not? Why not? I mean, it's honest,
I've
right?
never felt like yeah, yeah. I've never felt like people would care about my problems, maybe. And
I don't
I
know. Maybe it's
had
just
to deal.
like you're guessing, but it's your motivation, so only you can tell the truth about it.
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm trying to
No, you do know. You just may not,
diagnose.
it may not be obvious to you, but you certainly know.
Yeah.
So why don't you talk to your mother or your father? I assume that your sister's probably kind of beyond hope at this point, but why wouldn't you talk to your mother and your father and say, I don't feel like I got much parenting? If that's, it sounds like that's what it was.
Yeah. Um, I don't know.
All right, let's turn to Alice. Alice, why does Bob not talk to his parents about deficiencies in their parenting? I mean, listen, you guys have kids. I assume that, like me, if there's some issue with your parenting, you want your kids to say so, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why would you
Um,
withhold that information from your parents when it's what you would most need to hear as a parent?
I mean, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, so
Um, his mom would always tell me like what a great baby and child my husband was. He never cried. He
oh
didn't need
God,
anything.
that's kind of depressing.
Hmm.
Yeah. How he was just so easy.
Yeah,
It
that
was
just
the
means
other
he
kids
gave
that
up
were
on getting what he
problems.
wants. And what about
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
Alice? Have you had any conversations with your parents about issues or deficiencies?
I have
And how did that go?
poorly.
In what way?
And then like it'll go like really horribly, and then there will be some type of I'm sorry commitment to do better, to try harder.
And then,
Um, and then it just is the way it was before.
That's
oh
mostly your
gosh.
mom, not your dad, right?
Um, it's both. Well,
Both.
I don't really have it with my dad so much, partly because he's an intimidating guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, what do you mean?
My dad. Like
No, I know who you're talking about, but what do you mean by intimidating?
nobody really wants to go up to my dad and tell him what they don't like about him.
Sorry, but what do you mean? He'll yell at you? Is he a bully? What do you mean?
He can definitely be aggressive.
So he bullies his children?
Yeah, he definitely did.
Well, no, still does. If you're still afraid to talk to him.
Yes, then I guess I guess I didn't
In a
because
different
it's
way. It's a different
different
way.
because because I'm an adult.
Yeah, it's not a physical.
No, I didn't say physical. I said yell
Yeah,
or
yeah.
intimidate. So, but he's still bullying if you can't talk to him.
Yeah, that's
And what do you think would happen if you went up and say, I got a couple of issues with the parenting. I didn't really think about them as much until I became a parent, but I'm obviously parenting kind of differently. And, there's some things that I'd like to talk about. And, whatever, like,
he shuts it down.
Because you tried.
No, but then you just open it up
I've-
again and you say, Dad, I don't want you to shut this down. I really do want to talk about this.
Well, then it's
And you get
like,
mad.
well, then it, what was it? The one, then he gets like really depressed and like won't.
Yeah, and then you say, Dad, hang on, snap out of it. I'm right here. Like, don't fall into yourself, right? This is about me. Don't make it about you, right? I already had enough of that, right? You make it about you. So focus on me. Come on, look at me in the eye. Take a deep breath. You'll be fine. It's not the end of the world. We've just got a couple of criticisms here. So focus on me.
Like, I think it's stuff he can't come back from.
What do you mean?
There isn't any making it better.
I think both of us think our
There's no
parents are
making it better.
beyond hope.
You can apologize. You can
Well, yeah,
make restitution. You can get some therapy. You can there's tons of things you can do.
it's true.
I'm not
Like
saying
my
whether you
mom
should or should. I'm
apologized
not saying
to
whether you
me.
should or
She
shouldn't
didn't
have
know.
these conversations.
Feel that much better.
I'm just saying that you need to know why you haven't.
Yeah, like I've started down them, and then it's obviously a no-go zone with him completely, unless it's about my mom, and then he'll entertain it to an extent.
Oh, so he's fine if you complain about your mom, just not if you have any criticisms of him.
Yes.
And your mom, I assume, is the same way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty childish, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, you have people in your life who deeply and strongly and aggressively oppose honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they
And I
strongly,
yeah.
deeply, and vehemently oppose listening to you.
Yes.
Both of us, yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're absolutely right, both of you, right? So,
Yeah.
what was the big complaint? Look at that, full circle we've come. What was the big complaint at Taco Bell? You
That
didn't
you don't listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you aware that that's where it's coming from?
Yes. Well, partially. Not. I mean, this is how fleshed out. I did say recently. I think my wife gets triggered by that because she wasn't listened to or cared about as it. But I then should know that.
No, but it's still now.
Yeah, it is still now.
You have opposite principles in your life, which is going to tear us all apart. I'm not kidding about that. That's serious stuff. This will tear us all apart.
Yeah.
A
Like,
man cannot
literally
serve two masters, right? So what are the opposing principles? It's loving family if they really oppose you talking and telling the truth. It's loving family if they don't listen, and if you tell the truth, they get upset. And it's loving family if you listen to people and take their concerns seriously. You can't have both.
Yeah.
No.
You
That's what
cannot
we're
have
faced.
both. If the principle of the family of origin lasts, then you can't listen to each other. Because the family of origin is defined as a loving, happy family, and honesty is attacked. Honesty is attacked, scorned, rejected, and to some degree terrorized, in that you would be terrified to bring this up, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you have to have
I've
a
recently
principle. I'm
been
sorry, go
bringing
ahead.
some things up. I've recently been bringing some things up more with my mom because I see her more. My dad's still working and not retired.
No,
But
come on. Let's not.
it's
I'm
so
not
painful.
going with you at that level. You already told me you're frightened to tell your dad.
Yeah.
So let's not talk about him still working.
Yeah.
You can have on. And listen, you guys are working. I have a job. We're still having honest conversations, right? It's not about working.
Yes. No.
It's about fear. And listen, I'm not saying you're wrong to be, I understand that. I sympathize. I really do.
Yeah.
But
I think it's really,
sorry, go ahead.
it's so painful though, like when they don't care, because it's like it hurts them.
Yeah, I don't care that it hurts them. They're the parents.
It hurts you though.
I care that it hurts you. And
I
I
think
care,
when she,
I care that your children grow up with some kind of consistency.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
they're going
Yeah,
to
I feel like
see
I'm like
these
split in
empty,
pieces.
avoidant, non-existent, pretend relationships in your families of origin. They're going to be surrounded by it. They're going to be in there, even if the people aren't over that much.
Yeah.
It's in your
Yeah.
head. It's in your mind. It's in your heart. It's in your soul.
Yeah.
And they're going to see
What do you do?
mom and dad have the expectation that we listen in this family, but they're embedded in extended families which do the exact opposite of listen, which is punish honesty.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
A man cannot serve and a woman cannot serve two masters. You have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's totally fine for your parents to not listen to you and your sisters and siblings and all not, then you can't blame each other for not listening. Because it's confusing as heck, right? But if listening is a value and you've got to listen, you have to be aware of the people who attack you for telling the truth. If you want to be honest with each other, you have to recognize the damage done by the people who attack you for telling the truth.
I think we're
You have to
surrounded by
recognize you're trying to serve
sharks.
two masters, and it's going to be a volatile, bumpy, difficult, unpleasant ride.
Yeah. And it has been.
Right.
And
Like
There's a
like,
war. There's a war
there-
between the liars and the truth tellers, between those who are direct and those who punish directness, between those who listen and those who attack listening and are hostile to the very act of connection. There's a war. You got an angel on one side saying, tell the truth, be honest, be direct, and listen, and you got a devil on the other side saying, to heck with all of that. Avoidance and appearance is all that matters.
I've literally been I've told one of my complaints has been to my husband that I struggle to connect with our kids emotionally.
Sure.
And it's like painful to be connected to them.
Because you have to reach through the icy ghosts of your parents' indifference, and your kids are on the other side of that. And it burns your arms. It scalds your arms with ice. I don't mean to get overly poetic, but if you haven't confronted
I try really hard to do it anyway, but it's hard.
It is.
It doesn't feel like it should be this hard to connect with them when they want it and they need it.
Right. But here's the thing. Do you know why you can't connect with them? Other than my silly poetry, right? Do you know why you can't connect with them?
No, not fundamentally.
Okay, I'll tell you why. And I'm absolutely certain of this, right? Doesn't mean I'm right. I'm just telling you I'm certain. The reason you can't connect with them is, okay, would it benefit your children for you to connect with them better?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would it benefit you to connect with your children better?
Absolutely.
Would it benefit you as a married couple to connect with each other better?
100%.
Okay.
So much.
So if you're not doing something that benefits everyone in the immediate environment, it must be to the negative of someone else. So who suffers if you genuinely connect with your children and each other?
our extended families.
Yeah.
And why?
Started with my sister before we got married, right? And then it just continued on.
All my family members, the rest of yours.
Yeah.
So what happens if you genuinely connect with each other and you get through that ice wall? What happens if you genuinely connect with your children? What happens to your relationship with your parents?
Well, it's just hollow and awful.
Well, you will
Mine's
finally
like-
realize everything they withheld from you. Once you give it to your children, this is why it's so hard to improve. Once you give everything in your heart to your children, you realize everything in your parents' heart that was withheld from you, and it hurts. And it makes you angry because it's actually fun and great and easy. I get mad at my parents because I mean, you guys have heard, I'm sure, shows with my daughter. Like she's so much fun. We get along so well. We enjoy each other's company so much, and it's so easy and so enjoyable. And it's just like, why overcomplicate things with all this distance and mess and deception and appearance, and like just enjoy each other's company
Yeah.
and do good. So once you realize how pleasant and easy and positive it is to genuinely connect with your children, there will be both anger and sorrow at everything that was missing from you. And it's avoiding that sorrow that has you avoid your children.
Yeah.
But you don't have the right to avoid that sorrow. Like you have to just embrace it.
No.
You connect with your children. It
No.
will cost the illusion of connection with your parents, because once you genuinely connect, once you
Have to let it
genuinely
go.
connect with your children, you realize how little you're connected to others, and how
Yeah.
ridiculous and shallow and nonsense and who cares that stuff is. I mean, I hate to say it, but it is. It is a fact,
Yeah.
right?
I'd have to let the illusion of what I wish we had.
Right. And because
Yeah.
you've chosen to have children, you owe them your whole hearts.
Yes.
No
Yes, we do.
reservation. And if it makes you burst into tears, you know, mom's just got a bit of an old ache in her heart. Nothing to do with you, right? It's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine.
Yes.
You owe them your whole hearts, and whatever has to be sacrificed in order to connect with each other and your children and God, by the way, whatever has
Yeah.
to be sacrificed to connect with love, connection, and virtue must be sacrificed. Because the alternative is just a massive net loss to humanity as a whole, to your marriage, and to your innocent children who did not choose any of this and are relying upon you to break through that wall.
Who would have the same problems as we do if we don't fix it
Well,
for them,
yeah.
you could
I mean,
say.
they'll be better, obviously.
Yeah.
You're having these conversations, and this is to your immense and enormous. I mean, I can't tell you, guys, how much I admire you for what it's worth. Like, I mean, the honor and the nobility of having this kind of conversation is a treasure of the ages. Honestly, it's a treasure of the universe to have this kind of conversation. So your kids will be far better off than you were, but why not make them perfect? Why not leap? Why should it take 5 generations when it only has to take 1?
Yeah.
So we press on and we connect. And that means also connecting, with the anger. Your sister has treated you abominably.
Yeah.
And you have every right to be angry at that. And the anger is what will keep you safe. Not from her, but just from people like that. And also, your just anger at those who do deep wrongs to you, your children need to see it. Because that's what will protect them from predators in the future. You know, the Balrogs need to see that none shall pass bridge thing, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
kids need to see that you don't sacrifice your integrity for the sake of the approval of people who are kind of bullies. You don't flinch before corruption. You don't appease. You don't you make your rational compromises with the world because we all have to live in a place that does seem a little bit like hell from time to time. But you don't voluntarily sacrifice your integrity, your virtue, your connection, and your love. And when you are connected with each other, everything is so easy in the family. Stuff like the Taco Bell thing doesn't come up because you're connected and you trust and you are not isolated, right? This kind of upset and resentment comes from a feeling of deep isolation and a feeling of not being protected and a feeling of not being considered and a feeling of not being defended and that loyalty is missing. It's a kind of isolation that arises from neglect. And it seems to me that that was one of the main things that you both experienced as children. It was a kind of emotional neglect, a lack of connection. And so these things swell and grow because they hit these very deep wounds and chords of, people don't care about me. My feelings never get taken into consideration. And that's just a huge lack of trust. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, we both had very emotionally disconnected mothers, for sure.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Right. And so it's easy to feel that nobody's taking care of you emotionally because nobody took care of you emotionally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a fantasy, but it's
Yeah.
not differentiated between past and present. And the only thing that differentiates the past and the present is virtue. That commitment to virtue, connect with each other, right? So,
Hmm.
and the real time relationship stuff, right? That's why it's so powerful. If you're upset because you don't go to Taco Bell, you say, I feel upset that we didn't go to Taco Bell. As opposed to, well, you never listened
Yeah.
to me. I'm not saying that's what you said, but some escalating language or whatever, just to kind of cover up the hurt, right?
Yes.
And I say, I feel hurt that we didn't go to
Hmm.
Taco Bell, which doesn't make much
Yeah.
sense. My level of hurt doesn't match. I didn't get food. I only got food 15 minutes later, right? But I am really upset about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying that I am upset and I don't know why. And I'm curious. What do you think, right? That's a connecting conversation, right? How could you not take me? I'm hungry and you knew I was hungry. That's all an avoidant conversation.
Wow. Yeah.
You're just covering up the
It's
wound and
explaining.
lurching along like you're not bleeding out.
Yeah. 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 That's very helpful.
All right. How are we doing? Are we someplace useful?
I think so. Hey, I do you think we should start with connecting with our children, no matter how much it hurts?
So, I don't tell people what to do, right?
That's true.
Everyone
Yeah.
tries.
I
Everyone
don't know.
tries.
I do feel like we're kind of like drowning.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly your children are owed your whole heart. I mean, you owe
Yes.
that to your children by having them, right? And
Absolutely.
I would certainly, if your children are upsetting you, you say, I'm upset. It's not your fault, right? This is bothering me, but it's nothing to do with you, probably, and or whatever it is, right? So just focus on that relentless honesty with people. Because you guys like,
Mm.
and I understand this, I'm the same way, right? Like we were so punished for honesty. It's like, hey, why don't you just stick your hand in that giant furnace, right? It's like it feels like crazy. It feels almost suicidal to
Yes.
be honest and direct.
Yes.
But if you
Yes.
just work on the honesty and directness, that's the best way to banish these ghosts, I think.
Yes. Yes. Well, I've been really trying to be more honest and direct. And I feel like life's gotten harder with my family in some ways, which has then been impacting our family.
Yeah, the more honest you
Like,
try to be,
yeah,
then it's harder.
Well, you can't be
but yeah,
honest
it's
and
just
direct with your family because they'll attack and punish and ostracize you for it, won't they?
How do we do?
kind of.
That's not a fair question. But like,
Like, right now, my mom's at the point where she's like, I'm so sorry that you feel like I don't listen to you. Or, and then
But
she'll be
that's
like,
but
oh,
that's not
that
an
I don't
apology. No,
listen
no,
to
that's
you.
not an apology.
But yeah, then she'll self-correct it and she'll be like, oh, I'm sorry that I don't listen to you.
Okay, so then she needs to tell you why she doesn't listen to you, right? So Mom, your
Yeah.
homework assignment is go figure out why, figure out what happened in your childhood, come back and talk to me. You can talk to this guy in Canada. He's not too bad at this kind of stuff, right? So, right, but she's got to then.
If you thought our conversation had some terrifying things in it, you did not even want to go
I never flinch from going there. It's a blessing and a curse. So no, but she then owes you some understanding as to why.
there. Mm.
Because if she doesn't
Hmm.
understand why she doesn't listen to you, how can she possibly commit to listening to you?
Yeah,
I mean, we just did
that's
two
true.
hours on Taco Bell,
That's
right? No, because why is this conflict
true.
coming up,
Yeah.
right? Because we need to go deep into the roots, and your mom says, "Well, I don't know how to do it." Well, then therapy is she's not even working. She's got time for therapy. She can work on that kind of stuff. She can do, workbooks. There's tons of stuff she can do to try and dig into the roots of what the issues are. And your dad can do the
Mm.
same
Hmm.
thing, and like your parents on
Yeah,
Bob's side, your parents need
that's
to deal
true.
with the sister stuff, and
yeah,
I don't. You'd say you don't have much of a relationship with your sister. I just telling you for myself, and maybe this is just because I'm a couple decades older. I don't do pretend relationships. I don't. I don't do it. Like you get me or go somewhere else. Like I'm direct and honest, or I just
yeah,
don't do pretend relationships because to me that's like stealing from the great gift of life. to pantomime, to mime, to pretend, to lie, to self-erase. God has given us this great gift of existence. And to me, like, how suicide is such a sin because it's rejecting God's gift of existence. Well, so is lying. So is dishonesty. So is pretend relationships. You are denying God's great gift, or the universe's great gift of existence, to self-erase in order to conform with what? With nothing. With bullying, with emptiness, with avoidance, with rejection, with a lack of love. That's a sin, in my view. We've got this great gift of existence. We must use it to connect and be honest and fulfill the commandments. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Well, you were witnesses to your childhood, and you were witnesses to your parents' deficiencies, and you are withholding correction from them. It is a sin to withhold correction from people who've done wrong. And they fight it. Yeah, so what? We all know that. Everybody fights correction from sin. That's human nature. But you're not doing anything loving by withholding the truth from those around you. Now, maybe they will get mad. Maybe they'll storm off. Maybe they'll storm off for a year or 10 years or forever. But joining them in their sin by falsifying your entire history does not make the world a better place. Not for your children, not for your marriage, not for the future.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Will you guys keep me posted about how it's going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Will you take a big hug and a bow for the majesty of this conversation? I really do appreciate it. You guys did fantastically.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And keep me posted, all right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you for
guys.
your time.
Good night.
Yep. Good night.